Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. The CSGO Clutch Podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. Head over to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code CLUTCH. Again, that's promo code CLUTCH. Gets new depositors a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. They're a great site. Joined here on the podcast as always with my co-host, it's Dan Welch. Dan, baby, buddy, booby, what is happening?
Oh, not too much, Adam. Another beautiful day in my land.
Here we go
Just
again with
just
the you
noticed that
owning
today is
some random piece of land where you are like, king of all that you survey. Where is the statue of you, by the way?
well, it kind of exists in my imagination, I guess. But it is a very nice statue. It's very very big, and I'm gonna
Oh
leave it at that.
boy. I went
But
down
okay,
that road again.
before you cut me off, I was about to announce that today is Beetlejuice's birthday, and if you don't know who Beetlejuice is, that means you never watched the Howard Stern show.
Oh
And that guy
boy.
is that guy is a he is an all-star in my mind. So, all right, carry on.
Happy birthday to Beetlejuice. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the start of the IEM Summer 2021 event for Counter-Strike. We have our broadcast talent that has been announced. Desk host is Frankie. Analysts are YNK, Yanko, Kassad. I'm just going to call him Yanko instead of YNK. So it's Yanko, it's Kassad, it's Maniac. And your commentators will be the team of Sponge and Machine, Harry and Hugo, and we have Anders in as well. Probably someone else joining as well. If not Anders, it might be going solo. I love to see just overall all of the talent being mixed up. Like it.
Yeah, I'm glad. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I'm really happy that we've got Hugo and Harry because I love those guys. They're hilarious
They're funny.
and they make it entertaining.
I feel like
Yeah,
sometimes I think it's Hugo's. They're like shaking his head like, what is Harry saying now?
yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
but no, like
It's kind of like you and me.
yes, I'm the one shaking my head. Um, no kidding. But like Sponge Machine and why can't I think of his name now? The Cloud9 general manager there. His name is escaping me.
Oh, of course, now you ask, and I can't think
And
of
he's
it.
like, he was one of my favorite casters too.
Henry.
Henry G.
What?
Thank you.
Henry.
Henry G. I believe Sponge Machine and Henry G actually all live together. Like they're all
Oh,
roommates. I
huh.
think Harry and Hugo also roommates. Cannot confirm or deny that, but I
Roommate
think I've heard
vibe,
that
don't
somewhere.
they?
Huh? What'd you say?
They kind of have like a roommate vibe. Like they get along really well. So
Right, and I mean like that's why I really like listening to these teams, and like Semler and Anders another fun team to listen to. Um, Scrawny and Launders another fun team. And a lot of these
yep.
guys do stream too. Like you should check out Scrawny's stream, check out Semler's stream, Launders' stream. I'm trying to think who else has a stream. I know I've seen a couple others. Maniac, Pimp, Frankie has a stream. Sponge does stream from time to time, and he does some Danger Zone with Rushley. Like they're very fun to follow and to watch on stream. But you can tell there's like some sort of dynamic more than this working together. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely friendships there. Like they just play off each other so well.
Yep.
Um, like
Would
the
agree.
Machine and Sponge's legendary call of that KD and 1v4 clutch to win ESL Pro League Season 13. That's a legendary call and a legendary play. Um,
I
hey
I
Valve.
still feel very fortunate that I got to see it live.
Yeah. Hey Valve. Cadian's waiting for you to hurry up and put that, graffiti on A-Site Mirage, please. We're
Yes,
all
please.
waiting
Come
on
here.
it. Put put that graffiti there. That was a legendary clutch, and was just a
Hmm.
legendary play. Um. So anyway, I don't know how they would do the graffiti because it was 4 frags. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, folks. So enough of the side chat. We have a lot to get to in this podcast. Uh, IEM Summer, very very important. It's a double group stage format to start. Double elimination. All initial matches are best of one. Every match after that, with the exception of the grand final, including the playoffs, are best of threes. So again, Dan, we get this unique dynamic for not only watching Counter-Strike, but for the DFS aspect. All the initial matchups are best of one. And on this podcast, when we get to the DraftKings portion, all best of one. Our strategy is going to change very much so than normal best of three.
I'm sorry. I lost you for a second.
No,
What were
you're
you
good.
asking me
You're
again?
good. Sorry about the little technical difficulties here, folks. What I was saying is we have very different strategy when we get to the DraftKings portion of the podcast than our normal best of three, because all of the initial matchups, which is what this podcast is covering on DraftKings, all best of ones.
Right. Yeah, very, very different strategy for sure on a best of one. You go for the riflers, the high ceiling guys, unless you got a simple and a or a Zywoo. You know, obviously they're operas, but they have the higher ceiling.
Yes. And no
Yeah.
Zywoo, no Simple on this slate. But we do have some other teams to talk about. So when we get through the double elimination format of the groups, top three teams from each group are going to advance to the playoffs. Again, I believe we kind of sort of saw this with another tournament this year. The group stage winners will advance straight into the semifinals. Group stage runners up. So if you make the group stage final, you're automatically in the playoffs, and you advance as high as the high seed. Runner up in the double elimination bracket gets to the quarterfinals as well, but they enter as the low seed. Playoffs as a single elimination bracket. Quarters and semifinals are best of three matches, and the grand final is a best of five. It is a $250,000 prize pool. Here are our teams, Dan, for this event. We have Astralis, Complexity, EG, Fnatic, NIP, Team Vitality, Gambit, Heroic, Team Spirit, Virtus Pro, Extra Salt, Imperial Esports. We will get to them in the DFS portion. I got some hot takes there. OG, Fun Plus Phoenix, G2, and Sprout. The
All right.
interesting team that stands out between all these teams is Imperial. Why do Imperial stand out? There's
Let's
someone's
take a look.
name here that stands right out.
Burr.
That's right. It'll be the first time we get to see Fur in Tier 1 Counter-Strike in quite some time. Ever since he left MIBR.
Well, ever since MIBR kind of fell apart too.
Nah, I was being nice.
So yeah. Yep.
I'm
I wasn't trying to be
No, you're fine. I'm happy to see Extra Salt here. I'm very happy to see them back in the mix.
they deserve it.
Yep, Sprout won the ESL NC Global Playoffs, so they are back in the mix here. Though they draw Gambit, so
Yeah.
sorry. Again,
See ya.
so let's get into the brackets here real quick, and then we'll get into some Counter-Strike recent news, because there was actually some pretty significant news that has come out over the last couple days.
That
So,
has been.
so here we go. Here are our groups. Group A, Gambit versus Sprout to start us off. Team Vitality versus Complexity. Astralis versus Fun Plus Phoenix. Extra Salt versus G2. Group B is Heroic versus Imperial Esports. EG versus Team Spirit. NIP versus OG. Fnatic versus Virtus Pro. I think the one that stands out to me the most among all of these is NIP versus OG, and I Hosey and make a motion that we can make this, instead of best of one, a best of three, please. For the sake of everyone, every Counter-Strike fan that wants to see these guys go three, I wouldn't mind seeing these guys go five maps. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Team Vitality, Complexity should be interesting. Complexity have looked shaky. Team Vitality have looked a little bit better, so that'll be interesting. Poor Sprout cut Gambit. Sorry, Sprout. GG's. But,
Yep.
Sprout could come out upset. Again, so, like, all these round one matches are best of one. So, how this is going to work, and Dan, you and I can go through predictions rather quickly here. Gambit or Sprout?
Gambit.
I agree. Team Vitality or Complexity?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Vitality just because they looked pretty good
I'm going to go with
in
Team
the.
Vitality as well. It's no disrespect to complexity. I think it's going to be a very close game. Like a
Yep.
15-15 entering overtime. We're going to see like a 16-14, a 16-13. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. Um,
Hmm.
Astralis versus Fun Plus Phoenix.
Gotta go with my boys, the FPX crew.
I'm going to go with Astralis. Extra Salt versus G2. This should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I could see myself leaning extra salt, but I got to go with G2.
I
So,
agree. Let's just
yeah.
continue in Group A. So for both of us, Gambit versus Team Vitality.
Gambit,
I agree. All right, let's go to for you. It's Fun Plus Phoenix versus G2.
FPX,
Astralis versus G2 for me. I'm gonna take G2 in the upset over Astralis. Dan, you have Gambit versus FPX.
Gambit.
Okay. For me, it's going to be Gambit versus G2. I'm going to pick the upset here and say G2 beat Gambit in a best of three. G2 have looked much better lately, so I'm going to pick G2 over Gambit, in which should be a very close match. So for me,
Hmm.
getting to the playoffs is going to be Gambit and G2. Getting to the playoffs for you are going to be Gambit and Fun Plus Phoenix. Out of the lower bracket, and this is just, again, we have a little bit of time here on the podcast, and this is going to be a much lengthier podcast. So,
Hmm.
of the lower bracket of the teams that you had losing, who do you have coming out of the lower bracket for Group A?
FPX.
F- FPX is already in the playoffs because you had them advance to the upper bracket final of a G2.
Oh, oh, I thought it was okay. I'm sorry, I got lost. And
No, no,
without
no,
having
you're
the,
fine. So like, the
the
little confusing thing about this bracket is the winner of the upper bracket round 3 advances to the semifinals in the playoff. The loser advances to the quarterfinals as the high seed.
gotcha. Okay, yeah, it's like the last one we did. So I would say probably Astralis.
I can see that. For me, the
Yeah.
losers of the bottom. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be Astralis. All right, Group B, Heroic versus Imperial. Should we say it at the same time? One, two, three.
Heroic.
Heroic. So, her-
Uh,
Heroic for you.
yeah, yeah,
Heroic
yeah.
for you. Heroic for me. Uh, EG versus Team Spirit.
Spirit.
Team Spirit for me as well. Ninjas in Pajamas versus OG in a best of 7. No, I'm kidding. Um, best of 1, Nip or OG?
OG.
I'm picking OG as well.
All right. We're on the same page.
Fnatic versus VP.
Yeah. Sorry, Adam, but first pro.
Yeah, VP as well. For those that don't know, Fnatic were my original favorite team when I started watching Counter Strike. I still have my Fnatic T-shirt, and I I need heroic merch. Heroic out there, if you're listening, I need some heroic merch, please.
And I'd like some FPX merch,
Yeah.
please. I want a coffee mug at least.
So Dan needs some FBX merch. I need some heroic merch. Um. Anyway, all right. So I mean, it it's tough to see Fnatic in the state that they are right now. Again, as a fan of the team, it's just tough to see to kind of sort of state that they're in as a team. So, all right, Heroic versus Team
Yeah.
Spirit. This should be a banger in a best of 3.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the heroic boys. I
I'm gonna
just
go
don't
with
see
Heroic.
it.
I want to go with Team Spirit
Yeah, me too.
and like the upset, but Heroic are looking like the best, one of the best teams in the world. They're the clear number 2 to Gambit. Um,
Mhm.
and I think in the next couple events they could surpass Gambit, but it's gonna be Heroic for me. And I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm gonna have Team Spirit coming out of the lower bracket to advance to the playoffs.
Okay.
All right, so OG versus Virtus Pro. I gave it should be another banger.
OG.
I'm gonna. That's a tough one. I'm gonna take Virtus
Mm.
Pro.
All right. I like it.
Heroic versus OG for you.
Oh, I'm gonna go on a limb and say OG. I just
Wow.
really like these guys. I
All
think
right, so you have
they got a
OG
crank.
advancing to the semis, Heroic to the quarters as the high seed from Group B. I have Heroic versus Virtus Pro. Should be another fun game. I think Heroic beat them 2-0. Heroic advanced to the semis, and Virtus Pro advanced to the quarters as the high seed from Group B. Like I said, I have Team Spirit advancing out of the lower bracket. Sorry, Nip. What do you
I
think?
got Nip.
You got Nip?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Nip. Yeah, I think they can do it.
Excellent. All right. So that's going to just wrap up Dan and I's really quick thoughts here on the group stages. We'll get into our playoff thoughts when we eventually get to the teams. If I had to put some money on these teams right now, I'm picking Heroic to win IEM Summer. If you were to pick a team of the 6 that we picked, which one would you think would win?
Gambit.
Okay. Very good. All right. So now, Dan, it's time for us to get into some recent news. So
Yes.
we're going to get into some recent news because there has been a lot going on, and let's just address this. FaZe isn't in this tournament, but we need to address it. FaZe have benched coldzera
Yep.
in what is a very surprising move. This is extremely shocking. So I was listening to HLTV confirmed. They were talking about this. Blade, which is the Navi head coach, was on as the guest host. This one was very interesting, and I don't want to misquote them, so go back and listen to HLTV confirmed from it was yesterday. If you're listening to this as a post, I think it was on Tuesday. So June 1st, that edition right here. VOD assessing Navi, CS Armor, all this. So go back and listen to this, but they do talk about the benching of coldzera. And again, I'm
They
not going
do.
to misquote them, but think about this. Nico's left. Kiyobi's left. Yanko's left. Carrigan comes in. Carrigan isn't leaving. coldzera's benched. Not saying it's all coldzera, but different players may want to play with different styles. coldzera stat-wise shouldn't have been benched. I would have benched Rain before I benched coldzera.
Mm. Yeah, and sometimes
Actually,
attitude goes a long
actually,
way, though. You know?
no, I think it would have been coldzera over Rain. coldzera over the last half a year to a year has not put up the numbers that, quite frankly, we expect out of the two-time major champion. I think he's a two-time major champion, if I'm not
I've
mistaken.
also heard that he's not. Yeah, he's very hard to coach. I think like he's not. It's not that he's defensive. I think he's just really confident. So that would be my guess is maybe Kerrigan is. So typically when someone new comes in and like that's like for example a CEO of a company, they want to build their own team, and it doesn't mean that the people that they're that are exiting are bad. It
Correct.
just means it doesn't fit their vision, which is actually a really good thing because they need their team to fit their vision, which for long term success is usually a good thing. So
Yeah.
I
So,
appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna see how this impacts the team. The rumor right now is Olaf is gonna stand in for this team.
All right, bring him back.
So Olaf is standing in. That's the rumor.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I heard you.
HLTV confirmed did talk about what this team is gonna do. Like maybe Olaf stands in until the player break, and then maybe some people's contracts are up at the player break and are looking for new opportunities. Maybe we see FaZe pick one. There's no one out there right now that really comes to mind as like would make FaZe instantaneously better. You have Twists, who is your main rifler. You have the second best IGL in the world right now in Carrigan. You have a stud young Opper in Brokey. You have a great, I believe Rain is the entry fragger. But I
Hmm.
can't confirm that. Rain is good entry or support, however you want to say it. Who is going to replace coldzera? I can't think of anyone right now that FaZe could bring in that one is at the level of coldzera and or can help out right away. I don't know of a free agent out there. I mean, can you? Is there anyone out there that stands out in your mind that would instantly help out FaZe Clan?
No, not at all. I mean, just yeah, without really looking at um, really looking at some individual situations, it's hard to go with like a gut call. Even I just can't think
Yeah.
of anybody that's. it seems like in the, even like a non-free agent, like someone that could just be bought out. The only person that comes to mind is Essetag, but I mean I don't know
Yeah,
that
I
that's
mean, again, we've had Essetag that's been rumored to go to Astralis.
right, but hasn't happened yet. So
Well, that
um,
that $2.1 million contract might be saying differently.
right, yeah, that's a very good point.
I'm trying to figure out just by looking at some of the free agents on a different monitor here, folks. I can't see anyone that just stands out. And then this is also very old. This is a very old list from like December of 2020. There is no one that stands out. I mean, you could. Are FaZe gonna buy anybody out? Are they gonna trade for somebody? I mean, like, just looking down this list, no one stands out to me. I mean,
No,
Zeppa would have been interesting on this team.
yeah, he's long gone though.
Zeppa to Valorant. Like, it'll be really interesting to see who does what. But anyway, all right. So the second piece of news that impacts this tournament, it's really a 2A, 2B. We'll start off with the Ninjas in Pajamas. LNZ is going to play for NIP, and ZTR is returning to the Young Ninjas. So they were the Ninjas in Pajamas Academy team. So LNZ is coming up, ZTR is going down. Hampus is back as the main IGL. I mean, this move is interesting, right? Like, I don't know much about LNZ. I don't know how he's been fragging. But, so they've rotated ZTR out, LNZ in. I mean, does it matter?
I don't know off the top of my head what their stats are looking like, but I think LNZ is a better all around player. So I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna leave it at
so,
that.
like, keep that in mind for this slate. Dan and I will go over it when we get to the Draftkings part of this podcast. LNZ is not playing. I'm sorry. LNZ is playing for NIP on the active roster. ZTR has been not benched. He's gone back to the academy team. So
Yep.
that's really interesting. The second big piece of this for this tournament, Zeus, the head coach of Evil Geniuses or EG, has stepped down from the team. They've officially parted ways. EG is going into this tournament with no coach.
Yeah, that's not the best place you want to be.
EG are in
Um,
trouble.
yeah.
They need something to stabilize the team. Whether it's a coach, whether it's a general manager, whether it's just someone who's hanging out in the room with them, pumping them all up that's not the in-game leader. E.g., I am available for that, by the way. Um,
Shameless.
that's fine. I would not mind working for E.g. or Team Liquid.
No.
Just saying, I'm available. I'm available, Team Liquid. E.g.
Look
Draft
him
me on
up
the
on
team. Let's
LinkedIn.
go.
See ya. Put me in, coach.
There you go. Put me in, coach. Or E.g. lack their other coach.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know if an assistant's going to be with this team. I don't know if they have an assistant coach that's taking over right now, according to this. It's Stanislav, Breezy, Obo, Cirque, and Mihu. I don't know if Breezy's making a jump to Valorant. I have no idea. But, like, Zeus wants to stay in CS. I don't know what this roster is doing. It's gone from a primarily North American based roster to now an international like roster. Stanislav North America,
Maybe we just
Breezy's
found
North
our answer to
America,
the.
Obo North America, Cirque from Bulgaria, and you have Mihu from Poland.
Maybe that's the answer to the phase problem. Is Breezy goes to phase.
I think I can't believe I don't know where I heard this. It might have been an HLTV confirmed episode. I don't know, but I think I heard somewhere something about Breezy and the passion for the game, or maybe something like that.
Yeah, it was on HLTV. They talked about it. that they've always thought that that Breeze would go to Valorant, or not always, but recently, and that maybe Cirque would go to Liquid or something, but or something like that, some kind of a combination.
I don't know what to make of this roster. This
Yeah,
roster that, by the way, was undefeated for 10 games in a row, plus undefeated for 3 months, reached #1 in the world last year, won a couple of events, at least one. I think they won a couple. This team is all of a sudden is like imploded.
yeah.
So no head coach, I think makes things interesting. It's gonna fall more on Stanislaw. We know Stanislaw is one of the top 10 IGLs in professional Counter-Strike right now, in my opinion. I don't know what to expect out of this roster. Breezy concerns me. Like not as a person, not as a human being, but like, is the passion for Counter Strike there?
It doesn't look like it. I mean, they have
The
pretty
talent's
flat.
there. His talent is undeniable.
Yeah.
Is the passion for Counter Strike there? I have no idea. Or maybe he's just had a really bad luck streak and it's maybe gotten his head a little bit. I don't know. However, I do hope Breezy gets back in it. He's a great Counter-Strike player. I'd love to see him in Counter-Strike. I don't know if we will, but Breezy is still the ace of this team. And this guy, I want to see this team do well. Man, I really do. So, anything else you want to discuss here? There's really not much else we need to talk about in regards to this. The coldzera news was huge. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I'm good, Adam.
Alrighty. What do you say we finally get into the DFS portion of this podcast?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Excellent. Before we get here into this DFS portion of the podcast, I'd like to remind you all, folks, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Leave a comment down below. Hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button. That way, there you all know every single time one of these podcast posts. We've had, quite a few amount of viewers, 30 plus. Not that many likes. Let's still, let's see if we can, anyone hit that like button for us. Let's get 10 plus likes on this video. Yeah, and I would love to see 10 plus likes on this video. And would like to take a moment, real quick, to give a shout out to one of our listeners who not tweeted, left a comment down on one of our podcasts and helped this person to a 5th place finish. So shout out to Ken. I'll keep his last name off the air, but shout out to Ken. You know who you are. 5th place on the past slate. Was a play away from a takedown. Love to hear it. Glad to hear it's helping. Congrats again on the 5th place. All right,
Awesome.
folks, let's get into it. Dan and I have mentioned this over and over on this podcast already. Dan, I think we need to say it one more time. This is a 4-game slate that are best of ones.
Yep. Best of one.
This is not best of 3s where it's like, oh, hey, Dan, how many heroic do you want to play against Imperial in a best 3? Are we going to play 2? Are we going to play 3? Like, how do you want to play? Like, no, we're not doing that on this slate. Let's talk general best of 1 strategy again, real quick.
Okay.
Stacking 3 players from a team in a best of 1 is not optimal.
No.
For example, what's the one game on this slate if they were all best of 3? And this is a typical 4-game slate. What team are you stacking 3 from?
If it was best of 3?
If it was best of 3.
Heroic.
I agree. It's best of 1. Max stacks of 2. I think these stacks that are going to be optimal for a best of 1, 4-game slate, 2-2, 1-1, or 2-1-1-1-1. We are aiming for ceiling. That is all we are aiming for. I am not aiming for a floor.
Nope.
I'm aiming for a ceiling. My lineup construction is going to be more looking a little different. I am going to want to take shots on players that have the highest ceiling that I can get. You also want to take a look at some of the underdogs. So if we head over to our fine folks over here at Pinnacle, the fine folks over at Pinnacle, we take a look at the esports odds, and we take a look, where are we? This is IEM Summer. And we take a look, for example, Heroic Imperial. This
Wow.
surprises. It's a Heroic or minus 827 favorite. Imperial plus 568 underdog. Look, if you like Imperial and you think they can beat Heroic, by all means, plus 568, go. Go for it. Team Spirit are minus 248 favorite against Evil Geniuses. EG are a plus 199 underdog. The Ninjas in Pajamas come in at a minus 122 favorite. OG come in at a plus 101 underdog. So it's kind of sort of even. And Fnatic come in at a plus 200 underdog. Virtus Pro are a minus 250 favorite. Kind of sort of not surprising. This should be relatively straightforward. Now, Dan, being that it should be relatively straightforward, is there anything that you're going to look at differently for us from a single entry standpoint?
I mean, I'm not going to take my risk tolerance is pretty low as far as you know, just getting too different or getting, and avoiding any value plays that I think for some reason if I played someone else, I have a better chance of taking down a big GPP. So I'm having difficulty explaining exactly. I'm just going to be very risk averse, but I'm only going to look for ceiling at the same time, which is kind of counterintuitive or contradictory. But
Well, no, I mean, again, that kind of makes sense. Again, you're in a
yeah,
single entry perspective. You're
yep,
not taking as many heavy underdog risk shots as, for example, I'm going to in a large field GPP.
yep,
Because I am aiming to have I want that 5,000. Am I going to get there with any kind of safety in the best of one? Probably not. All right, now again, if this slate falls as it should, Heroic should win, Team Spirit should win, Virtus Pro should win, OG and Nip could decide the slate if everything falls right. EG could upset Team Spirit, Imperial could upset Heroic, Fnatic can upset VP. It's best of one. How much risk do you want to put into it? You do not want to do runbacks. I cannot stress that enough. It's best of one. Please do not do a run back from an opposing team. If you're playing 2 Heroic, don't play Fur. If you want to play Fur, don't play Heroic. Maybe play 2 from Team Spirit and 2 from VP. Make your stacks different. You have to get different. Speaking of getting different, I think that kind of takes the elephant right out of the room. Imperial versus Heroic is our first game on the slate. And 2 of the most chalkiest pieces on this entire slate will be a 2-stack of Shush and Refresh. Shush is $7,800. Refresh is $6,800. They're probably going to be the 2 chalkiest plays from Heroic, based on salary and based on what you can afford. Would you agree with that?
definitely.
And I know they're already, on your radar to play in single entry. Like, those are players in a single entry. I'll eat the chalk and get different somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can tell you from a large field GBP standpoint, Tessus is my favorite Heroic. Cadian second, and I think it's Cadian Day. At 10,200, Cadian is the most expensive price player on this slate. And I think it's Cadian Day. Cadian could drop a 20 bomb. We don't know. And again, we've also buried a massive piece of news. This is the first Tier 1 event that is going to have the new competitive map pool. Train is now no longer in the competitive map pool. It has been replaced with Ancient. Dan and I are going to have a quick walkthrough of Ancient. We're not going to give any super strats or anything like that. We're going to have some fun. And Dan and I are going to go through the map of Ancient. It's going to be a special podcast here on the CSGO Collector website, YouTube channel, and you will find it under the playlist entitled Specials, or however I decide to title it, it will stick out. So if you want to see Dan and I's walkthrough of Ancient and what to expect on that map, and maybe get familiar with it if you don't play Counter-Strike, Dan and I are going to have that walkthrough on a different podcast. But Dan, incorporating Ancient now into the map pool is going to throw a very different dynamic. Who knows how long teams have been practicing on this new Ancient map? For example, Train. When you think of Train, who are the teams you think of? Ents? Fnatic?
Stralas.
I kind of think of Team Spirit, actually, too.
Spirits of Dust. They like Dust, too. Yeah, but no, I agree.
I mean, like, that option for teams now is gone. Ancient's a really interesting map, depending how you want to play it. Quite frankly, I think the map is a bit balanced. I don't know if I want to call it CT side or T side. We need to see the pros play on it, which is going to be very, very fun to see. But Dan, I personally think, getting back to this slate, I think it's Tessus 1, Cadian 2, Shush 3, Refresh 4, Stown 5. Stown is $8,800. Quite frankly, don't mind him for large field GPPs either. But
No.
he's not a priority for me. As if I can get to Cadian or Tessus, I want both of them or the two cheap guys to make stacks different. Maybe I want to get a device, maybe I want to get a Jin, maybe I want to get a Yakindar, maybe I want to get a Dex, maybe I want to get a Mir. You know, maybe I want to get to some of these other players. And Shoes and Refresh are going to open that up for us. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. The chalkiness though is a little bit of a turnoff for me.
Well,
and
again,
I definitely would go after Tessus Arcadian if I can.
Again, like for a single entry, I can see where Shush and Refresh make sense.
Yeah.
It's cheaper
It's
salary.
only to fit someone else.
Right. Like, you want to get different elsewhere. Again, single entry, you're playing against only one entry. Large field GPP, you're playing against the max. So we need to get different in large field GPPs, which is why I think the way to get different are going to want to pay up for the heroic players. Variate your stack that way, because if you're playing Cadian and Tessus together, that's $20,000 of your $50,000 salary. That immediately, in my opinion, makes your lineups different.
Well, there's that for sure, but it's very difficult to go from there without a captain.
I absolutely agree. But that's like I said, if you want to get different, we have to think of ways to get different on the best of one. Now, I've teased it enough. Well, probably didn't tease it hard enough. Dan, I hope you're sitting down right now.
I am.
I just kicked my legs up because I'm about to go off on a little bit of a rant. I think for MMEs only, large field GPPs only, Imperial are firmly in play. I would not be saying that if it was a best of 3. It's a best of 1. Let's say, for all intents and purposes, the map that they play is Ancient. Neutral playing ground for these teams map-wise. We don't know if these teams have been practicing in scrims on Ancient. I would assume every team right now is either determining, are we going to try out Ancient, or are we permabanning it? And if teams start permabanning Ancient, that means their weaker maps are going to be in the map pool for the opponents to take advantage of. So that throws an entire wrinkle how we approach things. No, kind of. But it'll be very different. So, Fur is one of my favorite large field GPP players on the entire slate. Chiquino is up there too. Probably my second favorite large field GPP play on the entire slate. We'll get there when we get to Fnatic versus VP. Let's just go over Fur on Heroic, and I want to go over some of the plays that I really like. I think everyone is in play with the exception of CK Zhao.
Do
Okay,
tell.
so over the last month of play, there's only been 5 maps. Again, this Imperial roster has not been playing a lot, at least on official games. We don't know about scrims and pugs and stuff like that. Fur is, again, very small sample size. Fur is plus 14 with a 1.18 kill to death differential. Fastin is plus 3 with a 1.03 kill to death differential. Showtime is plus 10 with a 1.14 kill to death differential. And ZQKS, over the last 3 months of play, has played 8 maps. Has a 1.11 kill to death ratio. ZQKS is the opper. Low impact rating.
Does he not look like an opera too, Adam?
Oh, okay.
I think he just has that opera look. Like he's ready to snipe some mofo's, you know?
One thing that sticks out to me, I don't care so much about ADR for operas. Yes, it's nice, simple, and Zai have insane ADR. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's on the op, I care about op kills.
Yeah.
62.3, which means he's not exactly the best rifler either. He's not getting a lot of damage done with his rifle rounds or pistol rounds. So, or more rifle rounds than anything else. His KPR was 0.62, it's not good. So again, that's only over 8
Yeah, that's pretty low.
maps. Only over 8 maps.
And they're going up against your boys.
I mean, again, I'm not
it's a
giving
tough
much of
one.
a shot that Heroic can, well, Imperial can beat Heroic at all, but it's a best of one. Large field, MME only. I think Imperial. ZQKS is $4,000.
Yeah, that's dirt cheap for an opera.
You mean to tell me if I can get 5 to 10% ownership on a Fair, Fasten, Showtime, ZQKS, maybe max of 15% in a 20 max or greater? Fair is only $6,400. Baston's 5,600, Showtime's 5,200, ZQKS is the cheapest player on the slate at 4,000. I will gladly take that. Whatever I can get out of him. So like if we just go back to ZQKS real quick. Again, we're looking at maps. We're not looking at best of threes. Haven, Liberty, and Sharks are decent teams. It's obviously not the second best team in the world. 21 and 16, 15 and 13, 23 and 19, 14 and 9, 18 and 18, 16 and 13. I'll take something out of that at $4,000. If he's a one-off. Now, if he goes 5 and 20, okay, he's not getting there. 15 and 15, 15 and 10. He gets me any kind of positive at $4,000, and my other players go off. I'm happy. It's not something I'm advocating to go heavy on. Fur is someone that can get there because we know his talent level. I don't mind taking shots on Baston, Showtime, and ZQKS. I know it's a hot take. It's like, why are you playing against any players against the world number 2? Because it's a best of one. If it is ancient and we don't know how either of these teams perform on it, we could see an upset. Now, if it's
Right.
on a normal map like a Vertigo or an Inferno, most likely GG's Imperial. But again, we have to consider maybe these teams are gonna play ancient. Maybe they're permabanning ancient. Maybe their other ones are their weaker maps are gonna be exposed. Like we don't know. So it'll be very interesting to see. But that's all I'm saying. Spent way more than enough time on this game. But I think Imperial is definitely in play. Large field, MME only. 20 max and greater only. Single entry, 3 entry max. Fade. Full fade. Large field MME formats, I'd get some exposure. Dan, anything else to talk about with this game?
Adam. No, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, let's get right into what should be a very quick one to talk about as well. Well, granted, Imperial Heroic should have been very quick as well. Team Spirit versus Evil Geniuses. EG.
GG, EG.
One of these things just doesn't look right. Every
No.
single member of Team Spirit are higher priced than the cheapest member than the best player on EG. I would also have to point out, Tarek is not on EG anymore. So do not play Tarek. I like Oboe. I like Breezy and Cirque from EG. And I think EG represent the best large field GPP leverage on the slate with a realistic chance to upset Team Spirit. Am I wrong?
No, I would agree. I mean, the talent's there for sure. I mean, whether or not they're organized enough to beat a team that's well structured like Spirit, that's a whole nother question.
Well, I mean, like,
Um,
that's what I mean too, dude. Like, think about this. If you're on EG, or you're on X team, your coach leaves. You could think one of two things. Meh, whatever. I'm just going to play and do okay. Or you're going to have a firelet under your rear end, and you're going to want to go out and prove something. I'm hoping we get the latter. Dan?
it'd be great to play EG or have a one-off and have that happen, but I am not doing that. I'm sticking to Spirit, and I'm going to be probably locking Dexter.
I like it. For me,
Yeah,
my favorite play on Team Spirit's actually Mir.
yeah,
Chopper, and then
Mir would be good too.
Mir, Chopper, Dexter. Those are my favorite three. Let's just put it this way: everyone on Team Spirit are in play. Anything else to
Yeah,
say here?
yeah,
Because this
yeah.
should be pretty easy. Like
Nope, I'm good.
I had more takes on Imperial and Heroic, but I think this is the second heaviest chalk that we're gonna see. Just coming from Team Spirit.
Mm.
But I definitely think the top three from EG are in play. I don't mind some Mihu either. Maybe even a Stanislav if putting an enemy format.
There you go.
All right. The one that I'm really looking forward to on this slate, OG versus Nip. I'm going to start off by saying I think Captain Alexi B is very interesting.
Purely for this the savings.
He's going to be what, 9,500? $9,000, Captain.
Pretty cheap.
That leaves me
And I'm
8,200 left per player. And
in
we
this kind of split,
know.
you want to make sure you have the money to get the big dogs too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important.
Nico is the cheapest of anyone on OG. He's $4,800.
No shit.
Nico could be chalk.
Or not. Recency, I mean, he kind of shit the bed today a little bit, so
He's been this like almost like the de facto 5 on this team, no?
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but like his role has diminished since Flames has come in. My opinion.
No, he is definitely the support guy. Well, like you said, de facto 5.
It's crazy. So all of OG are firmly in play for me on this slate. My favorite captain on this slate is Captain Alexi B. And if you're, I will stress this again, if you're playing a captain, I don't think the way to get there in a best of one is a one-off captain. I usually stack a captain with one other player in the flex on the same team.
Yeah,
That
there's a
is,
good correlation, man.
that's I typically have a correlation. And a best of one, if you want to one-off a captain, I'm okay with that. I am gonna go captain and at least one. I'm not picking a three-man stack from any team.
No.
So, what are you doing with the dip side of things?
I'm probably going to be fading Nip completely.
Okay.
I just like OG too much.
I mean, I don't mind device at 8,800. Or, I'm sorry, 8,600.
No, not at all.
Now, here's the interesting thing. LNZ 7,000. That's really interesting to me. He might be an interesting one-off if you want to play with Nip. Or a very interesting stack with Device.
Huh. Yeah, I mean that would. He's probably gonna be like virtually unowned.
People are going to be like, who?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably got some lag from the young ninjas have probably been on a tier 2 slate, I would think. Oh, maybe yeah, because he's got a fan. He has an average points per game, so he's probably been on a slate before, which is why his price is up. Um, so
That
it's not
was,
relative to
I think,
what's
last year.
going on.
Or, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm
Okay.
sorry, it was 513 for Public League. So, I mean, like, I don't mind a Device LNZ stack to get different.
No. Why not?
Makes sense. So, is there
Oh,
anyone from Nip you wouldn't play?
wouldn't Plopsky and probably LNZ just because it's too risky for me.
That's fine. This is a game where all 10 players from each team, for all 10 players total are in play for large field GPPs. This is where you get different. As of right now, I'm leaning OG. I may end up on Nip. I haven't decided yet, but I'm probably leaning OG. And it sounds like you're leaning OG too for single entry.
Oh no, I'm definitely leaning OG.
Excellent.
I'll probably do two. I mean,
All
I
right.
really like Nico at the 4800, so
Yeah, it's very cheap. So
yeah,
I think Plopsky is my least favorite of the Nip players. If I had
yeah,
to
he's
rank
just
the Nip players, Device 1, LNZ 2, because again, large field GPPs I want to get different. Res 3, Hampus 4. I really like Res and Hampus. I really like Hampus. Plopsky 5. It's kind of tough because if I can get fit Hampus, I'm fitting Hampus. Device Hampus also is a nice 2 stack. Anything else for you from this game, or should we move on to what should be a very quick last game?
no, I just want to say that Valde and Captain is 11,400,
I like that.
which I mean, we would have played Valde if it was 9,000 in the Captain. So I mean, so 13,000. I mean, he's good.
Yeah,
So
Valdez is really good. All right, here we go. Fnatic versus Virtus Pro. I teased it earlier. Chiquino's my second favorite large field GPP play on the slate. Chiquino recently has looked really good. He's looked confident. Fnatic as a team looked terrible. Chiquino's looked like a golden star on this team. Oh, he's looked like a star on this team. Brolin, obviously the ace of this team. Chiquino's my favorite Fnatic player. If I'm playing anyone from Fnatic, it's Chiquino, then Brolin, and then Crims, and that's it. Maybe some JW and large field GPPs, but I'm focusing on Virtus
yeah,
Pro. What about you?
yeah, Vertif. I mean, I like Ykinder and James. I think that they just don't have the goods to shut Ykinder down. That's my take, and that's
Yakinder, I think it could be a slate breaker. If he goes 20 plus
I hope so.
or 25 plus against Fnatic, you're probably gonna need him to win a slate or win a
Yeah.
GPP.
Yeah, because we both know that he can absolutely, he could go plus 40 in regulation. I mean, not plus 40, like 40 or more kills in
For sure.
regulation.
And we know
Um,
VP have been shaky. Fnatic could push them. You don't know. Like, do we see these teams
true.
play overpass? We don't know. Like again, like we're saying, it'll be very interesting to see how the ancient dynamic plays into the map bans, the map vetoes rather.
Yeah, because it kind of so what it does is that any team that normally would pick train puts them in a kind of a weird spot, right? Because if that's one of their top maps, then the proxy as ancient is no longer a good map for them. So it really puts them in a weird place. So I think that was a good thing to bring up at the beginning about train. Which teams normally pick train because that immediately puts them at a disadvantage.
Right. And again, train you think of it being a well open, great lines of sight map for operas. Ancient isn't like that.
No.
Ancient is not as wide open as train. Again, if you're interested in Ancient, Magisk on YouTube from Astralis, he has an Ancient take on there. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I know he did something on Ancient. Dan and I are also going to have an ancient podcast on here. It's just going to be a very quick one. We're just going to walk around the map. We're going to show you maybe some colors, maybe some spots that we could see an opera at, or maybe throw some smokes or some mollies or stuff like that. And we're just going to have some fun and walk through the map. Right?
Yeah,
Excellent.
absolutely.
All right, Dan, let's get into it. Core value, GPP, and favorite team stack segment. I don't. All of Virtus Pro are in play, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I would just put Yakinder over James based on
Yeah, for tomorrow,
price
definitely.
and ceiling.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, we're looking at ceiling. Giacchino, Broland, Crims for Fnatic, JW, and I'm not playing Golden.
Yeah, Kinder's kind of our poster boy for our whole theory on getting the high ceiling riflers for
Yep.
these.
Alrighty, dude. Core value, GPP, favorite team stack. One of each. Who you got?
Core is Kinder, Nico value, GPP is going to be Breezy.
I like it. Do you have a favorite team stack?
I'm gonna go with OG.
I like it. All right. Core play for me. If I can get there, it's Cadian.
Okay.
Favorite team stack. I'll go one deeper. Cadian and Tessa stack from Heroic. So Heroic, and to get different off Shush and Refresh, Cadian and Tessus specifically. It's $20,000. It might be very tough to do. It might not. Your lives might not look good. That's who I like. So as an actual core, I really like the Yakindar call. I don't have a set core. I could say Tessus. I could say Cadian. Tessus probably as close to a core play as I'm going to get.
Okay.
But again, not a full core. There's too many options to go through here on this slate. Value. I almost said Valde. The Valde value. No. Value. Nico is 4,800. Look again. ZQKS 4,000. Too cheap. Mihu 5,800. Hampus at 6,200. He should not be that cheap. GPP fair and Chiquino.
All right.
Let's get into our prize pick segment here. And again, folks, sorry we're running a little long. Again, typically with the beginning, what do you call it? Beginning of an event podcast is going to typically be a little longer. We're going to go over the event. We're going to go over who we like, go over some CSGO recent news, and there was obviously the benching of Cold Zera had to be talked about.
Yeah.
So, all right. We have quite a few to choose from here. Dan, give us
Adam.
2 or 3 from prize picks you like.
Oh wow. So one map. Ooh. Well, I'm gonna go. Oh, that's just some. There's some big ones.
Any of these you like?
Dexter over. I'm gonna stick to my guns on that one, and
Okay.
then I'll go with Zywoo over.
Okay. Give us a third.
He's been showing up. How about Fang over?
I like it. All right. I'm making this very easy. I've already made one. I'm going to go to a different screen so I can just make sure I'm giving you guys the correct information. All right. Chiquino. Where's Chiquino? 15.5 over. Sticking to my guns on that one. Dexter, 20.5 under. And if you want a super hot takey one, Refresh, 18.5 under. Again, if Refresh doesn't get, then it's Katie and Tessa's day. Refresh may not get 18.5 frags. So he needs 19 frags to beat that. He could, but we will see. Dan, anything else you
Adam.
want to talk about in this slate?
No, it's an exciting one. I mean, I think that as much as I talk about risk, I think you can kind of put that in the back of your mind a little bit, unless you're doing single entries like me, and just kind of mix it up. So
Cool. All
Yeah.
right, everybody. No final thoughts from me. Good luck on the slate. And again, check out our Ancient walkthrough where we just show you the map of Ancient. You can take a look at it and we'll call out some spots. But that'll be up also on the CSGO Clutch Podcast YouTube channel. Check it out. And good luck on the slate. Latest peoples.